Greetings my dear jewelry lovers, today I will tell you the story of imperial sapphires and pearls, which are now worn by duchesses and princesses of Great Britain, and even worn by Queen Elizabeth II. After the Revolution of 1917, most of the treasures of the imperial house of Romanov were removed from the country in one way or another. To estimate even the approximate number of lost jewels today is almost impossible. Some foreigners and officials smuggled diamonds. In 1918, American writer John Reed was detained at the border with a large amount of jewelry of Nicholas II's sister Olga, and he hid the precious stones in the heels of his boots. And what went to the Bolsheviks, mercilessly sold off at numerous European auctions. The new government needed money, and works of jewelry art were dismantled and sold piecemeal, literally by weight. This was the case, for example, with many tiaras and tiaras. In the 1920s, auction catalogues with royal jewelry began to circulate in Europe. Anyone could buy a stone or a ring, of course, if they had money. In 1926, the Bolsheviks sold off the crown diamonds of the emperors. The list of lots included 773 items. Of these, the Diamond Fund of the Kremlin holds 114. The rest many times exhibited at auctions. It is known that the English antiques dealer Norman Weiss bought then 9 kilograms of jewelry and stones, spending £50,000. Weiss resold them to Christie's auction house. These jewels were broken down into 124 lots and auctioned in March 1927. The most valuable was the marriage crown of the last Empress Alexandra Feodorovna, set with 1,535 diamonds. Public domain. The pearl tiara went for £310, the spikes with a 35-carat yellow diamond, for £240. The real price of these jewelry pieces was, of course, much higher. Those Romanovs who were able to flee Russia took personal jewelry out on their own, then selling it to other royal families. Many ended up in Great Britain. The wife of British Prince Michael of Kent, cousin of Elizabeth II and maternal great-grandson of Russian Emperor Alexander II, born Baroness Maria Christina von Reibnitz, possesses pearl pendants that previously belonged to Grand Duchess Maria Pavlovna, the same one who managed to smuggle some of her luxurious jewelry abroad in pillowcases during the Revolution. The Grand Duchess bequeathed all her jewelry to her daughter Elena Vladimirovna, a Greek princess. The same had to sell off part of her mother's treasures to improve her financial affairs. Now in the Vladimir tiara of Maria Pavlovna shone at receptions Elizabeth II herself. And now Catherine will probably wear it. Elena gave the pearl earrings to her daughter Marina of Greece and Denmark, and the latter bequeathed them to her son Michael of Kent. He, in turn, gave them to his wife, who enjoys wearing them. In 1994, Queen Elizabeth II came to Russia on an official visit. For her meeting with President Boris Yeltsin, she chose a bright blue coat adorned with a brooch with a huge cabochon-cut Ceylon sapphire surrounded by dozens of diamonds with an elegant pearl pendant. This brooch originally belonged to the Russian Empress Maria Feodorovna, wife of Alexander III, mother of Nicholas II and sister of Queen Alexandra of Denmark of Great Britain, who started the jewelry fashion for Russian-style tiaras. During the Revolution, Maria Feodorovna was able to leave Russia through the Crimea aboard a British battleship and move to Great Britain, and then to Denmark, where she lived until 1928. Historians believe that the Empress Dowager was able to spend it and some of her other jewelry. The brooch was a wedding present from her sister and eventually made its way back to the UK. Maria Feodorovna's daughter sold the jewel to her sister-in-law Alexandra Maria Tecker in 1930, and it was inherited by her granddaughter Elizabeth II in 1953. Maria Feodorovna was very fond of jewelry, but especially sapphires. She had an impressive collection of jewelry, which went under the hammer after her death. Maria Tekskaya, also a great connoisseur of Russian jewelry, bought herself some jewelry, which is still walked by royalty. In the collection of Elizabeth II there is another brooch with a sapphire, which previously belonged to Maria Feodorovna. In general, the Empress had a whole sapphire parure consisting of a tiara, 2 brooches, a necklace and a corsage jewelry. Probably, the whole parure was also sold off in parts, and the brooch went to the English Queen. Elizabeth II wears it quite often, matching it to a dress or coat. One of the favorite necklaces of Elizabeth II's daughter Princess Anne is the Maria Feodorovna choker with a huge sapphire. Maria of Teck purchased it in 1931 for £6,000, approximately £400,000 at today's exchange rate. This piece of jewelry with large sapphire and diamonds, for rows of pearls and a gold base still looks very modern today. Camilla Parker Bowles Slavic numerals brooch. The British royal family's jewelry box also contains jewelry donated by Russian emperors. For example, this diamond brooch with Ceylon sapphires, which is worn by Camilla, the wife of Prince Charles. It is made in a very original heart shape with the letter 11 inside. It is the Slavic number 60. This jewel was presented to Queen Victoria in 1897 in honor of the 60th anniversary of her reign by her Hessian grandchildren, including the last Russian Empress Alexandra Feodorovna and her sister Grand Duchess Elizabeth Feodorovna. The brooch was not seen in public for many years, but in 2007 it was worn by Camilla, Duchess of Cornwall, and is still worn today. In 1947, Elizabeth married Philip Mountbatten. As a wedding present, his mother, Alice Battenberg, great-granddaughter of Queen Victoria and niece of Empress Alexandra Feodorovna, gave her son her diamond tiara, which had been given to her by Nicholas II and Alexandra for their wedding in 1903. Those were the hard post-war years, when even royal families had to economize on everything, and the tiara had to be dismantled. The largest diamond was used to make an engagement ring, and the rest of the stones were set in a platinum bracelet, which Philip gave to Elizabeth. And she wears it to this day, periodically lending it to Duchess Catherine, the wife of her grandson William. Russian jewelry has already become the property of the English piggy bank, but we should not forget who was their real owner. Which piece of jewelry did you like the most? Write comments. I remind you that you can make the channel even more interesting. Write what you want to hear about, and I will be glad to make a video for you.